Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your support. Reports that are emerging from Jubilee headquarters is that they have dropped Richard Ngatia and handed over the Nairobi gubernatorial ticket on the Jubilee ticket to Polycarp Igathe. Polycarp Igathe is not a new name in Nairobi County politics because when Mike Sonko was elected governor in 2017, he picked Polycarp Igathe as his deputy. But now, after I think only few months, Polycarp Igathe resigned, citing frustrations from Mike Sonko. Now, one thing I understand is Nairobi County is the epicenter of politics, and there are big interests that are invested in the county. So when Polycarp Igathe resigned, it really took time for Mike Sonko to even come up with his deputy, and he was dilly-dallying. Then he named Anne Kananu, so Anne Kananu became the candidate, became the deputy. Because she was the deputy, she was picked as the governor. Now, one thing then this I understand is that Polycarp Igathe's running mate choice was not the choice of Mike Sonko. It was the choice of maybe President Uhuru Kenyatta or the deep state of Nairobi County politics. So that is one thing that came out, because I want to understand that even the people, some of few reasons that made the president to make the decision to send Sonko away, or rather for Sonko to be impeached, is that some of the few maybe corruption scandals that had been going on there were already exposed, or maybe the short time that Igathe worked with Sonko, he just saw the kind of incompetent leader Sonko was. I want to believe so. So where do you think that the Jubilee Party has dropped Richard Ngatia for Polycarp Igathe? Being that after leaving the county, I think he was somewhere, then he was appointed, he was in Equity, worked with James Mwangi, that is the CEO of Equity. He was in Equity, charge of Equity, I think, for the last 1 year. Then recently, when the Ruby CEO was imported, Moses Kuria also, I think just yesterday, Moses Kuria also shared in his Facebook page that Polycarp Igathe had been appointed as the new CEO of the Rubies. Rubies is one of the oil marketers in the country, and they were being blamed for that artificial fuel shortage that the country was experiencing. So what exactly is happening then, that even within that 1 week, Polycarp Igathe has worked in Equity, has gone to Rubies, and is now back to Nairobi politics. But remember, I think the rumors of Igathe coming over had emerged last week. Now, the Jubilee ticket was being eyed by the leaders that wanted the Jubilee ticket were Richard Ngatia, Agnes Kagure, and Anne Kananu. So on the other side of ODM, there was Team Wanyonyi, and UDA have already settled on Johnson Sakaja. So really, the truth of the matter is that Jubilee did not do any nominations, but I hope they reached into a consensus. They reached in a consensus, and they decided that they are going to give that ticket to Polycarp Igathe. I want to believe that there are deep interests, but then I feel that Igathe is late. The blunder is already Richard Ngatia has campaigned, and of course amongst those candidates, Anne Kananu, Kagure, and Ngatia, I think Ngatia was the front runner because of the resources, and he had really campaigned. And again, Igathe is coming from the corporate world, and being from the corporate world, I don't think he is going to synchronize well with the murky Nairobi politics. Because what I'm going to see is that he's going to have a transition from sitting in the office and taking the car to back home, but then to put on the gumboots and go directly to Kibera and talk to the residents there. Brave that muddy place, go to Madare, and now going to that market. when it comes to elective politics, it's not just an easy affair. So for me, I think the ground is already charged, and what would be the blunder could be that some of Nairobi voters might actually feel that he's being fronted by some powerful forces. And you know, psychology of voters, they tend to vote for the aggrieved. So if Ngate is not going to sit ground and go as an independent, or maybe any other candidate, we also understand that Tim Wanyonyi has also decided to shelve his ambitions for the governor's seat, and he might not be going. And if he decides so, maybe independent. But I think he still have a chance, and I want to believe that Tim Wanyonyi would have defended the Westlands seat first. That I think that will be. But what we all have to be in agreement with is that the ODM party could not field women rep, senate, and governor. That is the truth, because they already have senator candidate Sifuna. They have women rep Esther Passaris. Then Tim Wanyonyi was also eyeing governor through ODM. So for me, I totally agree that that is not possible. So ladies and gentlemen, let's look at why do you think that Jubilee have actually reached into this decision, or in short, what does Igathe brings on table, or who is behind Igathe's candidature in Nairobi. First, kindly subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and please give us your feedback. In terms of this lineup, do you think Polycarp Igathe can defeat Johnson Sakaja? Because even before that decision was made, that is what was going on. Let's put this to a context. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka had came up with a very ridiculous lineup of Ngatia and Philip Kaloki. So, and I don't know whether when he was doing that, I didn't know whether he had talked with the president and Raila. But technically, I think Raila is out of this Nairobi governor's race. I think he was told to maybe fix and take Mombasa so that the president will take Nairobi. I want to believe so. Number one, Polycarp Igathe could be seen as a compromise candidate by the Jubilee. They're trying to find a common ground. Remember, the Jubilee party were having Ngatia, Agnes Kagure, and also Anne Kananu. So these three, maybe they did not agree. And then the president felt like for him to get a common ground where none of them is now going to feel aggrieved, he is going to bring another person. Now, that is why Polycarp Igathe has been brought in the fold. Number two, Polycarp Igathe most likely is being fronted in Nairobi by that Mount Kenya Foundation of the business community. And this will be the catcher. Part of the team that backed Raila's presidency is this, the millionaires of Mount Kenya. So these fellas, maybe this business community, they had maybe reached out to president and told the president that because we are going to invest in presidency of Raila Odinga, maybe give us a stake in Nairobi politics, in Nairobi County. So the Polycarp Igathe, in my understanding, could be he's a candidate that was supported and is fronted by the business community. Remember, he was a close confidant of James Mwangi, the Equity CEO. He has also worked with Munga. He has also worked with the late Chris Kirubi. And so he is from the deep business community. Actually, he represents the business community in that Azimio arrangement. So what could be is that they have said that give and take, we are going to support the presidency, but for us to ensure our interest, we will just accept that you take one of our own to go and be the Nairobi governor. So that will be it. Number three, I think in terms of competence, it is not doubtable. This is a guy who has come from the corporate world and he's been a manager. I think all along, Moses Kure was saying that he's one of the luckiest man because he doesn't lose a seat. He just leaves one job and pops to the other, leave one and goes to the other. So Polycarp Igathe, they have realized, because the president has intel on popularity of all these candidates, especially within Nairobi, in terms of, because he gets briefings from NAS, And they did their own research and realized that perhaps Polycarp Igathe is not appealing to the middle class. Equity, where Polycarp Igathe worked, has not been done with these maybe corruption scandals and all that. So it's a clean hand. And because Ngatia was part of the system, the middle class within Nairobi might feel like that is not the best person for that seat. So that is why the president has decided to bring Polycarp Igathe. Now, for the voters in the lower class, which is the majority of the voting bloc, for them they don't have a problem, because when it comes to on the 9th August, they are going to switch back to the tribal mode. So they are going to vote according to the tribal inclinations. But the middle class might interrogate into integrity, the competence of a candidate and all that. It is more likely that they may not appreciate the candidature of Richard Ngatia. So that is really on table. Another aspect that might be here is the president wants someone that can work smoothly with the NMS. But then another question that everyone else has been asking is, so after the general election, what happens with the NMS? And according to what I have gathered, personally, I think it was reported by Nation, that the NMS will not be dissolved, but it will work under the office of the governor. So the budget that the county assembly will pass for the Nairobi County governor, there are other designated roles that the NMS will play alongside the office of the governor. So because of that, it needs more of a highly competent person, and of course it is a bit of an integration of management, where you will be a county governor and also be a manager under a manager that is also working with the NMS. So that is, in terms of competence, that is something that Polycarp Igathe brings into the fold. And what finally this will show is that the president and Kalonzo Musyoka are the ones working on the Nairobi matrix. And maybe Raila has been told, we are going to give you your candidate is going to take Senate and women rep, but then the county governor and deputy is going to be Jubilee and Wiper, and which is fine, because sometimes it's not about winner takes all. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my analysis on the entry of Polycarp Igathe, and we're told he's going to launch his governor's bid tomorrow through the Jubilee Party.